right, our first example is 4 to the negative second power. We're used to seeing this as 4 squared, and the first thing I need to identify is what's different here. This is a negative 2 and this is a 2. These two exponents are opposites. When I usually do this, I multiply. This is usually multiplication. And because these are opposites, I am then going to use division for this. I usually multiply by my base of 4. Instead, I'm going to divide by my base of 4. Now, dividing by 4, I can represent as divided by 4. And I'm going to do this 2 times, so it's 1 divided by 4, 2 different times. I can then find my answer. 1 times 1 is 1. 4 times 4 is 16. Let's try our next example. We could also do negative 3 to the negative third power. The first thing I want to look at is my exponent. Let's just make this 3 to the negative third power. I want to look at my exponent. I see that it's negative, and a negative exponent means that I'm going to divide. So I'm going to divide by my base, and I can represent divided by 3 as 1/3. I'm going to do this the number of times that my exponent tells me, 3 times. 1 times 1 times 1. 3 times 3 is 9. 9 times 3 is 27. Next one. I'm going to do negative 7 to the negative second power. So I have negative 7 to the negative second. The first thing I'm going to look at is my exponent. I see that it is negative, which should signal in my head that I'm going to divide. I then need to look at my base. My base is a little different here. My base is negative 7. So I'm going to divide because this is negative. This tells me to divide. And my base is negative 7, so I'm going to divide by negative 7. I'm going to do this 2 times. 1 times 1 gives me 1. A negative 7 times a negative 7 gives me a positive 49. One more like that. Let's do negative 2 to the negative fourth power. Let's change this up. We'll make this the negative third power. First thing I identify is that my exponent is negative, which means I'm going to divide. I'm going to divide by my base, and I have a base that is negative 2. I can divide by negative 2 as 1 divided by negative 2, and I'm going to do this 3 times. 1 times 1 times 1 equals 1. Negative 2 times negative 2 is positive 4. Positive 4 times negative 2 is negative 8. This is 1 over negative 8. I can rewrite that as 1 over negative 8, negative 1 over 8, or negative 1/8, as long as each of these has just one negative sign. I want you to see and think and see if you can figure out this problem. I'm going to give you negative 4 to the negative third power. What is negative 4 to the negative third power? Now it's time to check your work. This means to divide, and I have a base of negative 4, so it's 1 over negative 4 3 times. Negative times negative gives you positive 16. Positive 16 times negative 4, negative 64. You could have 1 over negative 64, negative 1 over 64, or negative 1/64.